Hey YG, what's up? YG, can you hear me? Can YG hear me? Hey YG, what's up? How's it going, man? How's it going? It's been a really long time, hasn't it? It's been a while. Been a long while. Been a long while. 버디님, 유현님, yo! 버디님, hey 유현님, it's been a really long time. How's it going? What's up? How's it going? Hello. Park님. Hello, Nim. Hello. Wonderland님, Kimyoung님, Liam, Yujung님. Hi. How's everybody doing? How's it going? Hi. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I hope everyone is having a good evening. I hope everyone is having a good evening. It's been good. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. It's been good. Echo, you can hear echoes. Wait, hold on a second. Echo, you can hear echoes. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, sorry about that. Echo, you can hear echoes. Wait. Really? Yeah, sorry about that. Echo, you can hear echoes. Wait. Really? Yeah, sorry about that. Echo, you can hear echoes. Wait. Really? Yeah, sorry about that. Echo, you can hear echoes. Wait. Really? Yeah, sorry about that. Really? Huh, that's weird. No echo now? No echo now, right? I wonder why that was happening. Oh, wait, I think... Oh, that was why. Okay. Right, I think I got it under control, okay. It sounds good now, right? Sounds good now? Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I think I can have it. All right. So how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? Everybody doing good? Everybody doing okay? 늙은 소년님. Wow, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in the chat in quite some time. Well, we haven't streamed in a while, I know. We haven't streamed in a while. Trying to survive. Hanging in there, yeah? Hanging in there? Happy Christmas is coming. So what do you got going on for Christmas? How about me? Well, you know, I've been dealing with some health issues. I've talked about it before in a previous stream, I believe, and it's just been, it hasn't been very good. Hasn't been the best. But I'm hanging in there. I'm dealing with it. It's not like I haven't dealt with this before. So I'm just doing my best to get over this because I think it just takes time. Doing great, and I was using languages. You were using languages. Yunsnim, I've been chipcoke all day. That's good. It's good that you can do that, right? Yeah, it's been a while since we chatted on stream. On Christmas, I think I'm going to work in Sejong. Ah, shoot, YG name says. You're going to work in Sejong, okay. Even on Christmas Day. Even on Christmas Day. Felt very cold outside. Well, it's bearable. You know, it's not like extreme cold, right? But yes, it is pretty chilly, especially when it gets windy out there. It gets pretty chilly out there, that's right. Doesn't feel Christmassy at all this year. I wonder why. Yeah, me too. I mean, for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's because of my health problems, but doesn't really feel all that Christmassy this year. Although, when you consider the fact that, Christmas, it never really feels that Christmassy in Korea, right? So, Danelle and Vesnes, what's poppin'? Not much. Just dealing with some things, getting by. Nothing on Xmas. Okay. Hope you stay healthy. Me too. I mean, it's not like life-threatening, so that's a good thing, right? Shine님 says, hi. Yes, hello. Sonanim, hey, it's been a while. Yippee, hello. Have you been? How have you been? I hope everyone has been okay. Wow, at this hour live stream. Yeah, we are streaming slightly earlier than usual. I actually wanted to start earlier, around 7 or something, but I was waiting for my drink to arrive, so. I ate too much for dinner, so I feel stodgy. I haven't heard that one. Stodgy? Is that a real thing? Stodgy? I haven't heard that one. Stodgy? Okay. I see. Yeah, okay. I'm just not familiar with that word at all, so I was just wondering. I'm planning to grill meat on Christmas. Okay, have a little barbecue? 속이 더부룩하다. I feel full and gassy, I guess. 더부룩한 거 is usually because of gas, isn't it? 아닌가? Feel, people usually say, ate too much and feeling uncomfortable, I guess. Okay. You ate too much. You ate too much and you're not feeling all that comfortable. Who just farted? Feel gassy? 민망해요? It's okay. Oh my, hi y'all. Hey, C Summerny, what's up? How's it been? How's it been? I had an eye infection, and it was really uncomfortable for the past few days, but I'm feeling much better. Phew, laugh out loud. Okay, so what kind of eye infection? Did it get really red and itchy? Did it get really red and itchy? Boba tea? Oh, are these called boba teas? I didn't really know what to call them. Just milk tea with some stuff in it. Hey, Julie Kimney, what's up? How's it going? It's been a while. 동진님, you too. It's been a while, man. How's my day? Just family time, a lot of family time. Like I said, I've been, the reason I haven't been, it's probably just an excuse. I know, but I haven't really been working all that much lately because of this skin problem that I've been having. And when the skin problem gets worse, it gets really, really itchy. It's even itchy right now. I'm just trying to not, make it so obvious that it's itchy. And so when it does that, it makes it so much harder to concentrate on anything. I can't, sometimes when it gets really bad, I can't even hear what my wife is saying. You know what I mean? And so it's one of the reasons I've been kind of laying off of, streaming and other stuff. But besides that, I'm just hanging in there. The flu is going around lately. Oh, is it? I got one a month ago, and I still don't feel good yet. Oh, it's been over a month since you had the flu, and you feel better, but not 100% yet. Yeah. Boba. Oh, okay. Hey, Jenny Coney, what's up? It's been a while. What did you eat dinner? So how do we ask this correctly? How do we ask this correctly in English? Now, what did you eat dinner? When you say this, everybody will understand, no problem. But there's a more natural, 그쵸? Like this. What did you have for dinner? Okay. What did you have for dinner? That sounds better. 성민님, can you try again, please? Yeah, well, it's not really allergy. It has something to do with my immune system. There's some kind of imbalance in my immune system. So, yeah. Sam, did you create voice channel on Discord? No, I haven't. Let me do that right now. Just give me a second here. Duplicate. LA. What's the date today? What is it? 22nd? Okay, 22nd. Okay, so LA underbar December 22nd. voice channel is open. Well, it's not really a voice channel, but you could send in voice messages if you want to. Where did you get your coffee from? It's not coffee, it's boba tea apparently. I just learned that these are called boba teas from 공차. Bloodshot, dry, itchy. Ooh, sounds awful. Yeah, it's been a while. You're feeling under the weather? So is my wife. My wife is feeling kind of under the weather right now. I think she's coming down with something. Hopefully it doesn't get much worse. I mean, she's been feeling a little she's been feeling it since last night. And it didn't get that much worse today, which is a good sign. Hopefully it doesn't get much worse. It's been a while. I really missed you a lot. I couldn't join live stream for a long time because I have some issues. I'm okay now. How about your health? Don't be sick. Yeah, I'm dealing with it. I've been taking some Oriental medicine for it. Although I'm kind of worried because it doesn't seem like it's doing much. It's already been like 4 months since I started taking it. And so hopefully, I mean, because, my doctor told me that she's looking at about a year of treatment. So hopefully it's going to get better. What did you have for dinner? I don't think I had dinner. I was invited by American family last week. We discussed which president is the most craziest. Probably all of them. They're all crazy in their own way, aren't they? They're all crazy in their own way. So I was talking to some of the other I was talking to the other people on the other stream a few days ago. So we're in some of my members a few days ago, and it seems like we're in a situation where we have to deal with one problematic leader at a time. So just because we get rid of this one doesn't mean we're out of the woods. We then have to deal with another problematic leader, right? So things are not looking good. Things are not looking good. Oh, you skipped dinner? Okay. Planning to go see a musical called Hedwig on Christmas Eve. Okay. The title is certainly familiar. I just haven't seen that one. Red ginseng for your immune system. Red ginseng. Red ginseng. Ginseng is insam, right? What did you have for dinner? Right. Good. Very good, 성민님. And remember, keep your mouth moving. You got to say it. You can't just write it and read it. You got to say it. Right? Hey, Kikini, what's up? Yeah, it's from 공차. Yeah, they are. I had samgyeopsal for dinner. That's the one type of food that I'm not supposed to eat while I'm on this Oriental medicine medication. 공차 is pronounced 너무 한국어. Hey guys, I'm in Guam. I'm gonna back to Korea tomorrow. Okay. Sorry you have to come back. So, how do you like it in Guam? Is it your first time there? I've never been to Guam, actually. Is it your first time there? Hi, Sam. I had my first gathering to practice English. It was so much fun to speak English in person, and it wasn't that tough because I've been practicing a lot, at least online, following your advice. That's great. That is excellent. So what kind of gathering is it? How did you get the gathering together? My scripts? Okay. Are you talking about the videos? Usually I like to watch silly Christmas movies and chill down in December, but this year I just don't feel relaxed that much. I wonder why. Is it a personal thing, or is it the thing that we all know what it is? Sonanim says, what's up, Kiki? All my family members are allergic to pork except me. Really? Wow. Okay. So it looks like whenever you want pork, you need to get out and hook up with some other people. Both combined. I see. I hope things things get better, right? We all hope things get better. Because I've been coughing you've been coughing for a month? Is it like a long COVID kind of thing? Are you wearing a beanie? Is it cold inside? No, actually, now that you mention it, it is getting kind of warm. It was feeling a little cold earlier, but now that I have all this the lights and the computer, everything is on. It is getting a little warmer in here. Actually, it feels just right. So, yeah. Got a lung CT scan. Ooh, okay, it sounds bad. I've heard cases where long COVIDs, people become bedridden for months because of long COVID. I became a lazy person after finals, haha, but I'm going to start studying English again. Oh, that's great. It's okay to be lazy from time to time. It's perfectly fine to be lazy from time to time. You got to give yourself a break, right? Kim Jong-un, it is the first impression of Guam. It's your first time in Guam, okay. Remember to say it's your first time in Guam, right? The first impression of Guam is like a calm and peaceful countryside. Also, ocean scenery is so beautiful. What's the weather like in Guam? What is the weather like in Guam? 약간 피곤해 보시. I'm always kind of tired. It's so freaking cold today. It was a windy day, right? It was a windy day. 1 month coughing can be pneumonia. Pneumonia or long COVID. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. It's been a while. I saw you wearing your 빨간 모자. There we go. Got my red hat on. I was advised to go to a bigger hospital and got CT scan. The doctor told me it looks fine. I cough way less now. Oh, okay. All right. I wonder what's causing the coughs. I felt the same way, to be honest, Jenny. Oh, that I look tired? It wasn't COVID. It was A형 독감. All right. Okay, so we have 3 expressions that I want to go over with you today. How come I'm not getting any of the pearls? They're in there. Just not getting any of them. Oh, there we go. Okay, I got some. What's wrong with the Cardinals? Oh, thank you for the membership support. I really appreciate that. Very, very appreciate that. Thank you very much. Is that drink gray? No, it's more like purple. Yeah, I am using the straw. It's just, I don't know. For some reason, when I have it at a particular angle, it's not picking up any of the pearls. I got some. The members of the gathering are people who want to practice English in my neighborhood. Okay. So it's your neighbors. They're your neighbors. Turned out there was an English teacher and I could listen to her long English sentences. I realized I became braver. That's great, yeah. So real life experience, that's always better. Could be. Good evening. Okay. Now, imagine we're talking about a movie, right? Imagine we're talking about a movie and we're talking about the special effects in that movie and how good it is, right? But let's imagine that the movie is a very old movie. For example, one particular movie comes to mind. It's the 2001 Space Odyssey. Have you guys seen that? Is it 2001 or 2000? Shit, I can't remember. Do you guys know the one I'm talking about? 나홀로지. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right, so let's imagine we're talking about a very old movie, but still the special effects is really good, okay? Space Odyssey. I think it's, wait, give me a second here. 2001 Space. Yep, it's called 2001 A Space Odyssey. A Space Odyssey. This is a movie that came out in 1968. It's a movie that came out in 1968, okay? However, when you watch that movie now, okay? 지금까지 오디세이라고 발음하는 줄 알았어요. When you're speaking in Korean, 오디세이 is fine because, you know, that's how we say it in Korean. It's fine. It's not wrong. But when you're speaking in English, you should, you know, try to make an effort to say Odyssey. Odyssey, okay? So 2001, A Space Odyssey. Now, when you watch that movie now, right, the special effects, it still looks really good, actually. It actually looks really good, okay? It's a movie that came out in 1968. It's a movie about, like, you know, it has a lot of, you know, space travel and space exploration aspects, but the special effects still looks good, okay? So there's an expression in English. There's an expression in English, okay? 오늘 기준으로 봤을 때도. I'm sure a lot of people know this expression. 오늘날 기준에서도 Space Odyssey. Ah, 선아님. What goes in front of that? So yeah, okay, so today's standards, but we need some prepositions in front of today's standards. We need some expressions. No, very close. It's not for, no. Yes, by today's standards. Even by today's standards. Even by today's standards. Now, this even, of course, is, you know, just to stress that point, but yeah, so this, I want you to try to memorize this, okay? Try to memorize this. Even by today's standards. Even by today's standards. It means that even when you apply the modern standards of today to something in the past, something is still notable, something is still impressive, something is still good, okay? Even by today's standards. Even by today's standards. Hey, which is better? Is it better to, let's say that I can't consume the liquid and the pearl equally. So which is better, to finish the drink first or finish the pearl first? Which is better? Anyway, so even by today's standards. You prefer no pearls. Assuming that I can't finish them equally, like I can't consume them equally. Finish the drink first and try to suck the pearl poorly? What do you mean? Suck the pearl poorly. 오늘날 기준으로 봐서도 이렇게 해석해도 될까요? Yes. 오늘날 기준으로 봐도, 뭐 봐서도, 뭐 봤을 때도. All that is fine. Give me a second. 유연님 just sent me a voice message.
The special effects in the movie is very impressive,
Shit, why can't I hear it?
even by today's standards.
What? Oh, shoot. Wait. Again.
The special effects in the movie is very impressive, even by today's standards.
Standards. Even by today's standards. Not standards. Standards. Okay. I've never tried 공차. Sim, could you let me know what the beverage tastes like? There's no way to explain the taste. How do you describe the taste of food? It's sweet. It's sweet. It's sweet. All right. So, you guys understand what this is, yes? Okay. Even by today's standards? Let's see. So, and then I started thinking about like cars, right? Because usually it's not just for like technology. So another example I have is like, for example, she was very lucky to have, parents like that. They were very open-minded, even by today's standards. Just an example, A long time ago, there was this girl who was having problems in school. She was having problems in school. Every teacher complained about her inability to stay still and focus in class. And now this was back in the days when ADHD wasn't a thing. They haven't figured out what ADHD was, and so they couldn't diagnose her with ADHD. And so they just thought she was like crazy or something, right? And so her parents called a doctor. The doctor was I don't know what kind of doctor it was. It was probably a very talented doctor. The doctor came over to their home, and as the doctor was examining her, and he or she, I don't even know if it was a he or she spent a few hours with her, and then he asked her, the little girl, to stay there. I think it was maybe in the kitchen or something. And then he left the room, but before he left, he turned the radio on. He left the radio on, and then he moved over to the next room where the parents were. Okay? And then the doctor said, "Watch her." And as the radio, was playing tunes, the girl just couldn't stay still. She was moving around like crazy, and the doctor said, look at your daughter, right? And then the parents were like, yeah, look, she can't stay still. What's wrong with her? And then the doctor said, your daughter is not crazy. She's a dancer. Send her to a dance school. And the parents actually did. And then you know what happened? Do you know whose story this is? She is the reason the musical Cats exist. That girl is the reason the musical Cats exist. I don't know her other accomplishments, but apparently she's a very successful choreographer, I think. She's responsible for a number of very successful musicals, and she's like a multimillionaire. And so she was very lucky to have parents like that. They were very open-minded, even by today's standards. Even by today's standards. And we can go on and talk about other things like the fuel efficiency, for example.
The special effects in the movie is very impressive, even by today's standards.
Very good. Standards.
The special effects in that movie is very impressive, even by today's standards.
Standards.
She was very lucky to have parents like that. They were very open-minded, even by today's standards.
Yes, Gillian Lynn. That's right, Gillian Lynn.
She was very lucky to have parents like that. They were very open-minded, even by today's standards.
You see here? Do you see this sentence here? In this sentence, which word should be the hardest to hear by a listener? By the listener, which word should be the most difficult to catch in this sentence? Which word should be heard the least amount? Right. Two. The least amount. Okay? So listen, okay? She was very lucky to have parents like that. She was very lucky to have parents like that. She was very lucky to have parents like that. Can you hear the two? Can you hear the two? She was very lucky to have parents like that. This is how it will sound when a native speaker says it very comfortably, okay? She was very lucky to have parents like that. She was very, very lucky to have parents like that. She was very lucky to have parents like that. She was very lucky to have parents like that. Okay, so she was very lucky to have parents like that. Now, when you're practicing this slowly, okay, you could pause here and say, she was very lucky to have parents like that. Okay, but when native speakers are saying it, in most cases, they won't stop, and they'll say, she was very lucky to have parents like that. She was very lucky to have parents like that. She was very lucky to have parents like that. They were very open-minded, even by today's standards.
She was very lucky to have parents like that.
Okay, very good, very good. Half Moonie, she was very lucky to have parents like that. Parents like that. His speech was the best in the world, even by today's standards. His speech. Okay. I mean, grammatically, it makes perfect sense, but even as I'm hearing that and reading that, I'm not really sure what makes a good speech. And what makes a good speech, like the criteria that makes a good speech, it doesn't really change over time, does it? I don't really know. I'm not a speech expert, so. He was a highly technical player, even by today's standards. Okay, technical player, all right. Like a player that relies heavily on techniques. Sure, I guess so. Okay. Okay. Hey, 과장님, what's up? It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
She was very lucky to have parents like that. They were
Okay, so-
very open-minded, even by today's standards.
Okay, very good. Wait. What was that last part?
Even by today's standards.
Whoa.
Very open-minded.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
She was very lucky to have parents like that. They were very open-minded, even by today's standards.
Very good, Summer Senior. Very good. Her makeup was stylish in that old commercial, even by today's standards. Okay, yeah. Yeah, her makeup was, I guess I would just say her makeup looked really good. Yeah. Even by today's standards. The fuel efficiency of that model was class leading, even by today's standards. The fuel efficiency of that car was class leading, even by today's standards. Alice name. Are you in the are you in Discord? Are you a member of the Discord right now? If you scroll down on the left side, there's a list of servers, right? At the bottom, the very last category is voice channels. You'll see voice channels. And under voice channels at the very top, you'll see LA underbar 1222. That's December 22nd. You go in there and you send over a voice message.
The fuel efficiency of that model was class leading, even by today's standards.
Okay. So class leading, not leading, not class leading, class leading. I feel like a lot of Korean people have trouble with this particular pronunciation. Okay. Like another example is like fit and feet. I think this is one of the ways you can improve your pronunciation. Okay, so careful not to say fit, it's feet. Okay, and in the same way, not class leading, class leading. Okay, it has to be more flat, longer. Okay. Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever, even by today's standards. Yeah, he was. I mean, he was right. He was one of the highest performing players in the game, even by today's standards. Yes, you're right. K-pop songs from the 1990s still seem incredibly sophisticated, even by today's standards. Very good. I like this example. Yeah. But you know what? I think, I would even go beyond that. I would even go beyond that to say that a lot of the K-pop, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old by saying this. Maybe it's just a sign that I'm getting old, but I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like K-pop songs from the 90s were mostly a lot more sophisticated than the ones that we're getting these days. I don't know if anybody's going to agree with me, but that's just how I personally feel. I don't know, maybe the songs now are more sophisticated in a slightly different way. Who knows, right? But personally, like the late 80s and I don't know, I wasn't even born. I wasn't even like thinking for myself in throughout most of the 80s because I was born in early 80s. But like the 90s and the early 2000s, I think those were the days. Those were the days. Before social media. I think before social media, those were the days. Okay, Sonanim. So grammatically this makes sense, but I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. The fact that cell phones still have room for improvement, even by today's standards, is amazing. Tom was the hottest man I've ever met, even by today's standards. When you use the phrase by today's standards, you're usually talking about something something that is more generally known, not something personal, right? Because like a hot guy, it can vary from person to person, right? So which Tom do you mean? Tom Cruise? Anyway, you're not a big fan of K-pop? Especially now K-pop nowadays, right? Okay, so I think we're done with even by today's standards. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Oh, this was something from a conversation that I had with JC a while back. Not too long ago, maybe like a couple months ago maybe. There was an expression that I used as I was talking to her about how much the weather has gotten so much warmer than before. There was an expression that I used, and right at that moment, as I was using that expression, it occurred to me that I should probably cover this in one of my streams or in one of my lesson videos. And so I'm doing that now, okay? So this is a portion of a conversation I had with JC a while back. So I was telling her about my concerns with climate change, with how much warmer it's been getting, right? And I said something like this. I remember how the weather would always get really cold on KCSAT day. This year, it was around 10 degrees above zero. Always been concerned about climate change, but that and made me realize just how serious things have gotten. Not exactly like this. I probably didn't say it exactly like this, but it was something like this, all right? This was the context, okay? This was the context. All right. So I remember how the weather would always get really cold on KCSAT day. Do you guys remember this? What is KCSAT? Does everybody know what KCSAT is? Does everybody know what it is? Right. Do you remember, like, back in the days, like the 90s and the early 2000s, do you remember how on every KCSAT day it would get extremely cold? Do you remember that? It used to go like way below zero. Like minus 10 or sometimes even further than that, right? Right? But look what happened this year. It was like 10 degrees above zero. Wasn't it? Anyway. So that's what this is about. And then I said something like, I'd always been concerned about climate change, but that... Now, what I'm going to say here, let me explain what I'm going to say here. Sometimes just with... sometimes you need comparison. You need to draw a comparison between something to realize just what that really means. Like to... JC, you remember. You remember, right? You remember. This is pretty much, yeah, this is what I said. That, I'm going to say that. There we go. You wrote it down. Okay. Does everybody know what this means? Whoops. I remember how the weather would always get really cold on KCSAT day. This year it was around 10 degrees above zero. I'd always been concerned about climate change, but that really put things into perspective and made me realize just how serious things have gotten. No, it's a little bit different. When something puts something into perspective, it means that it makes it easier for you to see and understand. It makes it easier for you to understand. Yeah, it's kind of like this. 체감이 되다. It's kind of like that. Yeah. No. It's not simply about broadening your perspective. No. It's about, I think I need to show you some more examples for you to understand. Yeah. 체감하다, I think, is better. Yes. The reason they use this expression, the reason they use this expression is to talk about making it easier to understand. Making it easier to understand. So let me give you another example. Another very common way they use this expression, let me show you. Have you guys heard about spraying diamond dust in our stratosphere to cool the climate down? Have you guys heard of this? This is something that the scientists actually came up with. Scientists did some sort of experiment, and they came out with a result where if you sprayed 5.5 million tons of diamond dust in the stratosphere a year, 5.5 million tons of diamond dust every year, then it would cool down the temperature of the earth. Yes, diamond dust. Diamond dust. Okay. 시야를 넓혀줬다. No, it's not 시야를 넓혀줬다. Putting things into perspective is different from broadening your perspective. No. It means to take something that you couldn't quite understand and drawing a comparison to something that's easier to understand. So let me show you right now, okay? So I just said 5.5 million tons of diamond dust. Do you know how much this is? Yes, 보람님, this is good. 거시적인 관점이 조금 더 개인적으로 다가. Yes, that's good. That's good. Right. Right. So most people can't even. They just simply can't imagine what 5.5 million tons looks like, right? So to put that into perspective, see, this is why we use this expression. Okay, to put that into perspective, it's the equivalent of 1,000 Great Pyramids of Giza. So, 5.5 million tons of diamond dust is equivalent. It's the equivalent of 1,000 Great Pyramids of Giza. So when you think about it like this, because yes, you're right, it's not feasible. But just to put this into perspective, because most people can't even imagine how much 5.5 million tons of diamond dust is. So to put that into perspective, we most of us know what the Great Pyramid of Giza kind of looks like, right? And so when we think of it like this, it's a little bit easier for us to understand, right? Yes. Yes. 네, 좀 더 와닿도록 하는 거죠. 와닿도록 하는 거. Actually, me neither. I've never seen the Great Pyramid of Giza. I have never seen any pyramid in my entire life. Yes. Yes. I think I finished. No, there's still some in there. There's one left. Just one left. So, to put that into perspective, again, let me clarify this. When you're talking about something, and sometimes you give like a huge number like this, okay? Sometimes you give like, because especially when you consider, yeah. So this is like a classic example of when we use this phrase to put something into perspective, right? Because most people have never seen 5.5 million tons of diamond dust. So it's like, how much is that? Well, that's this much. What about the cost? $175 trillion. $175 trillion. Can you guys imagine how much this is? $175 trillion? Okay, so to put that into perspective, there are 8 billion people on Earth, right? There are 8 billion people on Earth. If you were to distribute this money to everyone, to all 8 billion people, each person would get about $21,000. Everyone would get about $21,000. Well, so that means this is a lot more than you thought. It's a lot more than you thought. I haven't been streaming very regularly or very often lately. I'm hoping to do it more regularly and often in the future. But right now, I'm just dealing with a slight health issue, and as soon as I can, get that under control, we're going to be streaming a lot more often and a lot more regularly. 이경 5,200점. Is this like someone's license plate number? Looks like some car's license plate number. I think I've seen a license plate number with this. 선생님, 그럼 이걸 한국어로 번역하면 뭐라고 하면 좋을까요? Which one? What? This? Or what? Anyway, so to put something into perspective means to draw a comparison with something that is more easily imaginable, something that we can imagine more easily to help us understand, to help the other person understand. Okay? To put something into perspective. 오! 고급 한국어. 그죠? 이거 고급 한국어다. 가시화하다? My MBTI? Oh shoot, I forgot to take the test. I actually went onto one of the websites where you can take the MBTI test, but then I got distracted and I did something else. I forgot to take it. Anyway. So, you will hear this a lot. Okay, so another way this is very, very commonly used. Sometimes you explain everything like this. All right, sometimes you explain it like that. You explain everything, and then people start to understand, right? So you say, oh, so this means like $5.5 million is equivalent to this much, and that means like all 8 billion people would get at least 21,000. And so as you are saying, you explain everything. After you're finished, you can say, so that really puts things into perspective. You can actually finish your explanation with this line. You can say that really puts things into perspective. Okay? Actually, this is not an appropriate use of this phrase. So that is not putting things into perspective. This is just something translating into something else. So when as more and more people enjoy sweets, putting that into perspective doesn't mean there are more people with diabetes or problem with diabetes. That's just this A translating into B. So you can say more and more people eat sweets, enjoy sweets, and that translates to people having more problems with diabetes. So that's a little bit different. Okay. Okay. All right. So I've just shown you the first way is actually we can eliminate that. And so this is pretty much what I was just talking about. So you explain something, right? You explain something. And so okay, so what I'm trying to say is, here, look at this. I'd always been concerned about climate change, right? But okay, so if you're concerned about climate change, it means that you're worried the temperature is getting higher, right? You're worried that the Earth is getting hotter. But that's just a very general way to describe climate change. That's a very general way to understand why it's so serious. But when you take this, for example, when you take the KCSAT day, and we know that it's always been cold on that day, but this year it was like 10 degrees above zero. So that it helps you understand, right? It puts it into a scale that you can actually relate to a lot more. Am I making sense here? Instead of just saying, oh, the Earth is getting hotter, you now have a very specific way to kind of, to determine just how much that's happening, right? So this is a perfect example of putting something into perspective, okay? So I remember how the weather would always get really cold, but this year this happened, and I'd always been concerned about climate change, but that really put things into perspective. So that's one way. Another way is when you're explaining something to someone and you gave a very big number, and a very big number of like something that we have never really seen, like who has ever seen diamond dust, right? And so you would say, 5.5 million tons of diamond dust. What does that even look like? I don't even know. So that's like 1,000 Great Pyramids of Giza. So like, as we've said, we've at least seen the Great Pyramid of Giza, through pictures, right? And so we can imagine 1,000 pyramids. That's a lot. So that kind of puts things into perspective, right? Right. It brings it down to a scale, or it brings it into a scale or format that you can actually imagine, right? Is the phrase essential to compare numbers? There's no such thing as an essential expression. You don't have to say this. You can just say it more simply. You can say that's like, instead of all this, you can say 5.5 million tons, that's like 1,000 Great Pyramids of Giza. You can just say that. But native speakers use this a lot. Especially because we can use it like this. Okay. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. So this is a very good example, right? Well, it's not just put. There are a lot of expressions that use a lot of very common verbs. 새로운 시각인 건 맞는데 그게 그러니까 단순히 다른 시각으로 보여주겠다라는 게 아니라 더 잘 상상해서 더 잘 이해할 수 있는 형태의 것으로 비교해서 설명하는 거예요. Okay? 예를 들면, it's kind of like saying, for example. Alright. 그렇죠. 이제 이런 취지에서 하는 말이죠. 이해를 돕자면이란 말을 그대로 또 영어로도 할 수는 있어요. To help you understand. But I just want you guys to learn this expression because it's very, very useful. We use it in many different ways. 그러니까 지금 여기 보시면은요. When you say it like this, right? When you say it like this, when you say, "Oh, I remember how," but I'd always been concerned about climate change, but that 이 that가 뭐예요? 이 that가 뭐죠? What is this that? 이 that가 뭐예요? What is this that? 그쵸? 앞에서 얘기하는 이거. 여기까지 얘기가 지금 that인 거죠. 나는 항상 기후변화가 걱정됐었는데 앞에서 이야기한 요게 그것이 모든 거를 관점 안으로 넣어줬다. 내가 더 잘 보고 더 잘 이해할 수 있게 해줬다라는 얘기죠. Okay? That really put things into perspective. 라고 함으로써 더 크게 깨달았다라는 얘기잖아요. 그렇죠? 그런 의미로 쓰는 말이기 때문에 이게 정말 많이 써요. Okay? That really put things into perspective. Now I can see what's going on, what's happening. I really feel and I can really see what's going on because it's in my perspective now. Okay? All right. Okay, let's try one more. It wasn't until I had been teaching for about 10 years that I felt the desire to reach a larger number of learners. I think I've told you the story before. I've told you the story before, haven't I? It wasn't until I had been teaching for about 10 years that I felt the desire to reach a larger number of learners. Okay? Before that, I had no real complaints teaching just a classroom full of students. Let's say learners. It wasn't until I had been teaching for about 10 years that I felt a desire to reach a larger number of learners. Before that, I had no real complaints teaching just a classroom full of learners. Okay? But once I became obsessed. 자, 여기서 무슨 얘기를 할 거냐면, 이게 무슨 얘기냐면, 한 10년째 가르친 지 한 10년째가 돼서야 더 많은 학습자들한테 더 리치를 하고 싶다라는 그런 갈망이 생겼다. 그 전에는 그냥 강의실 그냥 한 강의실만 이렇게 놓고 가르치는 거에 대해서 저는 불만이 없었다라는 얘기죠. 그런데 그 생각에 한번 꽂히자 거기에 집착을 하게 됐다라는 얘기예요. 오케이? 그 생각이 한번 꽂히자 거기에 집착하게 됐다. 그 생각에 꽂히다라는 말을 어떻게 하면 좋을까요? 어떻게 하고자 하는 생각에 꽂히다? 뭐 이런 얘기를 하잖아요. 그렇죠? 뭐 다 좋아요. 뭐 여러 가지 또 표현이 있겠죠. 오늘은 아마 지금까지는 한 번도 제가 보여드리지 않은 표현이 될 것 같아요. I feel like I've never really talked about this one. 왠지 여러분이 그 좀 충분히 이 표현 방식에 좀 공감을 할 수 있을 것 같아요. Once that idea took root in my mind. Once that idea took root in my mind, I became obsessed. Once that idea took root in my mind. So when something takes root in someone's mind, it means it's like the beginning, right? That's like the seed. 제가 가장 최근에 이 표현이 쓰인 거를 읽었던 거가 지금 기억에 남아있어서 하는 얘기인데 이거는 그냥 제가 제 실제 경험을 대입을 시켜서 사용해본 거고요. 제가 최근에 막 이런 저런 거 막 읽다가 본 것 중에 하나는 이거였어요. I don't remember what exactly the post was about. I think it was a blog post. I don't exactly remember what it was about, but I think I remember the line. I think it was a she. She said, "I quickly dismissed the idea before it took root in my mind." 이렇게 쓰여진 거를 제가 본 적이 있어요. 이거 무슨 뜻인지 아시겠어요? Before it took root in my mind. Yeah. 네, 맞아요. 그게 내 머릿속에 뿌리를 내려서 그 생각이 더 커지기 전에 빨리 그거를 머릿속에서 없애버렸다라는 얘기예요. Dismiss the idea? dismiss the idea를 많이 쓰냐보다는 이제 dismiss라는 단어를 많이 쓰냐 이걸 이제 궁금해 하는 게 맞을 것 같아요. Yes, dismiss 정말 많이 써요. dismiss 정말 많이 써요. 그 마음, 그쵸? 그 마음이나 그 생각에 꽂히기 전에 빨리 그냥 까먹어 버렸다. 그런 맥락으로 이제 쓰인 거죠. I don't remember what it was about. 뭐였더라? Yeah. 차단. Yeah. So, yeah. So 그쵸? So I'm kind of drawing a contrast here. And before that, 그 전에는 이랬다. 그 전에 이랬는데 10년쯤 되니까 이랬더라. 근데 한번 그 생각이 싹이 트니까 한번 그쵸, 뭐 싹이 튼다라고 볼 수도 있겠네요. 한번 그 생각이 자리 잡고 나니까 거기에 집착을 하게 됐다라는 이런 식으로도 쓸 수 있고, I quickly dismissed the idea. 잽싸게 그 생각을 버려버렸다. Before it took root in my mind. Once it got my thoughts into my head. My thoughts는 이미 내 head 안에 있잖아요. 내 생각을 내 머리에 No, that doesn't work. It sounds very awkward. Good try though. Good try. Hey Kim님, what's up? 그쵸, 그 생각이 뿌리 내리기 전에 얼른 무시했다. Oh, good. 예, 의역 잘 해주셨네요. 무시했다. Yeah. Very good. took over my mind는 정신을 지배하는 거죠, 완전히. 그래서 물론 그것도 비슷한 느낌이긴 하지만 when something takes over your mind, that means it you know, it's a little bit different, I think. Once that idea got stuck in my mind, I guess it's similar. It's similar, but it doesn't really I think that is the obsession. Something being stuck in your mind is not being able to get rid of it. Yeah. Yes. 그렇죠? 컨트롤을 하는 거. 컨트롤을 당하는 거. Yeah, being fixated is kind of like being obsessed with something. So something taking root in your mind is what comes before. It's something that comes before you become fixated and before you become obsessed with something. Something, it's kind of like saying begin to think about something, right? So you can ask somebody, when did this, take root in your mind? When did you begin to have these thoughts? Right? It's the beginning stage, the early stage, the of something that happens before it takes over your mind and before you become obsessed. Yeah. That's right. Once it got me, it's similar. It really depends on how you use it. But once it got me I think when something gets you, it's already too late to go back. You really can't escape it. It's like when something gets you, it sounds like something has already locked in. You know what I mean? So. All right. Okay, that's pretty much it today. So even by today's standards, something can be, oh, I still have one boba left. Gotcha. So even by today's standards, the special effects in the movie is very impressive, even by today's standards. Okay? So I mentioned a movie called 2001: A Space Odyssey. That movie came out in 1968. And I don't know if you guys seen that movie, but you can just watch the very early part of that movie, the very beginning part. After the monkeys, it just shows a whole bunch of space scenes with spaceships, roaming through space, and the special effects actually look really good. Even by today's standards, it looks really, really good. She was very lucky to have parents like that. We're talking I don't know how 50s or the 60s maybe. Okay, so back then compared to today, you would think. Right? You would think that parents would be very, very close-minded compared to now. But even by today's standards, they were very open-minded. Even by today's standards. So fuel efficiency, you would think that fuel efficiency would, exponentially improve over time, right? In a span of 20, 30 years. But I don't know if there is a car that we can apply this to, but we're just imagining that there is a car that came out a long time ago, and it was very well known for its good fuel efficiency, and so this is something that we might say, right? The fuel efficiency of that model was class leading, even by today's standards. And then we moved on to putting things into perspective. Okay, something putting into perspective. So I guess the easiest way to say this is to putting into what you can see. So your perspective is this much, but when someone explains something and it's beyond our perspective, that means we can't really see what's going on, what's happening, what it means. But by drawing a comparison to something that we can understand and that we can imagine, it puts something into perspective. I remember how the weather would always get really cold on KCSAT day. This year it was around 10 degrees above zero. That really put things into perspective. I'd always been concerned about climate change, but that really put things into perspective. 5.5 million tons of diamond dust. So, nobody has seen 5.5 million tons of diamond dust. So to put that into perspective, it's the equivalent of 1,000 Great Pyramids of Giza. What about the cost? Well, it's about $175 trillion. So nobody really has this much money, right? So to put that into perspective, it's like distributing $21,000 to every 8 billion, to every single individual among the 8 billion people that we have on Earth, right? 한국 1년 예상의 약 3,000배. Is that true? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. That's it. So I guess that means enough money to run Korea for 3,000 years. Yeah? So with this amount of money, you can run Korea for the next 3,000 years. No, it's not 175조. It's 뭐였지? 아까 이경 뭐 얘기 나왔는데. Okay, so and then we moved on to 조 달러. I see. It wasn't until I'd been teaching for about 10 years that I felt the desire to reach a larger number of learners. Before that, I had no real complaints teaching just a classroom full of learners, but once that idea took root in my mind, okay? So once that thought or that idea came into my mind and decided to stay, it just got bigger and, I became obsessed. And this is something from what I read earlier. I quickly dismissed the idea before it took root in my mind. To put things into perspective, or to put that into perspective, if you're talking about a very specific piece of information, that amount of money could buy 3 houses at the time. Yeah, good example. Right. Okay. Even by today's standards. To put that into perspective, or to put things into perspective, for something to take root in someone's mind. Okay. All right, that's it, you guys. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Edit. I gotta take my car to the mechanics tomorrow morning. Such a pain in the butt. Don't you guys hate it when you have to go to the mechanics for a checkup, you know, to get like your engine oil changed? So that really puts things into perspective. Save. Okay. (3,000 kilometers). 과장님, can you put that into perspective for us? 3,000 kilometers. I don't know what that is. Can you put that into perspective? No, like seriously. Do you guys know how much 3,000 kilometers is? I don't. I can't. It doesn't come. It doesn't come to me so quickly. You know, like, help me understand here. 왜 안 나오지? 하루에 10km 1년 내내 매일 타면. Oh, okay. I think this is a little better. So, is that round trip? From where? From where? It depends on from where. From Seoul, you mean? From Seoul? Well, that helps. Yeah, that really puts things into perspective. Thanks, man. Oh, it's a secret. Yeah, that really puts things into perspective. Man, why can't I? Okay. Ugh, so sweet. So, 8 round trips from Seoul to Busan. Yeah, actually, I did ask for the 30% sugar because, you know, they have that option that you can choose, right? I chose the 30% sugar. So, I think the default, the base, when you don't take any options, it's 50%, but I chose the 30%. There is a 0% option, but I thought that would be disgusting, so... Anyway, okay. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh, 4 round trips. Okay, 4 round trips between Seoul and Busan. I see. You need to change engine oil every 3,000 miles of 3,000 kilometers, not miles. To put that into perspective, that's about 8 round trips from Seoul to Busan. Okay. All right. So you guys know how to use this now, right? Because, you know, I think for the average person, like just saying 3,000 kilometers, I mean, if, you know, for those who are very familiar with those distances, I think it's not going to be a problem. But for someone like me, I'm not very familiar with those metrics, do you say? Do they say metrics? I'm not very familiar with those type of metrics, so I need to put that into perspective to help me understand. 건강의 지름길은 혈관을 지키는 건데 processed sugar는 최악의 물질입니다. Okay. I'm sorry. I won't drink this next time. Oh, I'm sorry. 타로 버블티 슈가 0% 나름 고소해요. 아, okay. Alright. Okay, thanks for tuning in today, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening, and I hope I can see you again real soon in the next live stream or the next lesson video. See you guys. Have a good evening.